Good morning, Paul. It's Wednesday, the 10th of May. Here's the heads up brief for today. For the Southeast Asia production, we covered 17 issues. In North Asia and for the Australasia and Pacific Islands, we covered 6 issues each. In South Asia, we covered 14 issues plus the major issues in Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Okay, beautiful day. I'm in Jakarta. I'm heading east shortly. Bhargav can't join us. He's on the interview for the executive tech position. So go ahead.
Right. In Indonesia, security forces have ended the years-long anti-terror operation in central Sulawesi. They will now focus on preventing the resurgence of terrorism there.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
Also, regarding the Indonesian military, authorities are considering revising the law to allow for more military in the government.
Yeah, we need to have a real close look at that, what that means. I mean, the Indonesian army and the scheme of things within Indonesia is one of the better managed, and they do some really good training. We could be just trying to supplement the lack of skills evident in the government, perhaps even stitch up a bit of integrity. Now, I'm not saying they're flawless angels, but by comparison, of course, that may be what they're doing. I'm noticing they're putting an interesting PR sling and trying to swing and say it's not at all related to the military's involvement like it was under the new order. We do need to get a better grip on that. All right, perhaps even we should discuss it with Kevin O'Rourke next week. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do. In the Philippines, Paul, the National Police said it was monitoring around 3,000 officers for their involvement in illegal drugs and extortion and other criminality.
Yeah, so that probably only leaves another 27,000 they need to monitor. Thank you. Go ahead.
Right. And in Thailand, the Pheu Thai party laid out conditions for forming a post-election coalition. According to the conditions, the Prime Minister has to be from the Pheu Thai party, which will also oversee and control the major ministries. And coalition partners will also need to support all of their policies.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're seeing Thaksin at his best here now. Frankly, he's a psychopath. He's been flooding Twitter with "I'm going to return like the prodigal son." That's only going to manipulate stupid voters. Thaksin goes back, and he's going to get a bullet in him or locked up. He's going to end up on lay majest charges. He's already exposed his sister. Now he's exposing his daughter. He's got no interest in a coalition. He's got interest in everyone else acting for him. He's a dictatorial psycho and manipulating democracy to try and get power and control ministries. And he's doing it for money, for greed. He's already an insidious, wealthy businessman. Unfortunately, the nature of Thailand is that people are either red or yellow, and as a result, they can't see through him, and he's manipulating the situation with a great strategic mind, but one that's placing other people in danger. He's already been removed from the country, and he really actually wants to take over Thailand. He doesn't want to deflate the royal family. He wants to be it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the powers to be play it out this time, because a coup could lead to serious unrest. So I think they're going to be a bit smarter than that. All the other pundits make serious mistakes and underrate Prayut's ability to think strategically and the capacity amongst the military level planners and also the Privy Council. So fascinating. Obviously, we'll whack out a bit of an advisory tomorrow before the election, but the real issue is going to come in July and August when they start to appoint, issue the results, who wins the popular vote, who wins how many seats, but then also who's going to nominate for PM. But it seems to me that Thaksin's playing a game here that may expose him, because perhaps the Move Forward Party want to act as an independent party and don't want to be a pawn to Thaksin. And perhaps he thinks they are, but perhaps he may just be wrong. Thanks. Let's go ahead with South Asia.
Yeah. In South Asia, Paul, the big news is that in Pakistan, Imran Khan was arrested yesterday. Violent protests broke out across the country. There were also attempts to storm the military headquarters in Rawalpindi, which is quite notable in itself. There's been an unconfirmed number of casualties across the country. According to some estimates, about a dozen people have been killed.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's complete and utter mayhem, and I mean, this has been on the cards for so long. The nature of the Pakistan military and their involvement in politics and trying to run the show's messy. It's failing in Sudan, failed in Myanmar. It's very different. In Thailand, it's a stabilising condition, but in Pakistan, clearly they've got serious issues. This is a massive concern to companies and our clients have investments in Pakistan. Thank you.
Yeah. In India, farmers groups will join a notable wrestlers protest in New Delhi. This is against the current Bharatiya Janata Party government. Now, these anti-government protests will surge ahead of the 2024 elections, especially if the farmer movements come in, because they held widespread protests between 2020 and 2021.
I forget the wrestlers' protest. It's actually something to do with the payment to wrestlers, isn't it? I can't remember the background.
Paul, the background is that the chief of the wrestling organization, he has sexually assaulted some of the wrestlers, and he is protected by the ruling government, and they're refraining from arresting him and blocking the arrest.
Okay, thank you. Great clarification.
And also in India, a private company official who was involved in mining development at a thermal power plant coal mining site in Jharkhand was shot dead by unidentified assailants yesterday. He had apparently received extortion calls earlier. No further details have been released on this.
All right, make sure we get that one into the database, please.
Yeah, yeah. And lastly, Paul, in Europe regarding the Russo-Ukrainian conflict, the West is going to provide more long-range missiles to Ukraine, which focus on range, which is adding to concerns that these weapons will be used in a more offensive versus defensive capacity. And Putin, in yesterday's Victory Day parade, reiterated the existential threat to Russia from the West.
Yeah, and the West has been ignoring that since 2014. So all he's doing now is countering the absolute balderdash PR that's been flowing out of the media from DC and cascaded to everybody that America feels you're either with us or against us. And ultimately, they're just running a counter PR campaign. Unfortunately, I think, as is often the case, the American intel guys um, have got it completely wrong, and the victims are many. And of course, they don't care. They'll Team America will ride their little scooters to the next fiasco and hide from their role in it. Thank you.
Right, that's the brief for today, Paul. Anything else from you?
No, man. Cheers. Appreciate it. Thank you.